Hello everyone and welcome to the third episode of my Godot engine plugin development series. I am developing Hoodie, my visual scripting for procedural geometry plugin for Godot 4. It's like Blender geometry nodes but integrated directly into the Godot engine. There are a lot of updates in this one, so enjoy the video and stick to the end for the big announcement. Before we start, I want to thank you for your support. More than 300 followers on Twitter and almost 80 subscribers on YouTube. This means really a lot to me. So, if you're enjoying the video and the content, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. This is Green Crow. Let's get started. We ended the last episode with being able to display the graph editor when we selected a Hoodie mesh. But now it's time to dive into the logic of the add-on. As you already know by now, this plugin will let you use a visual scripting interface to generate procedural geometry, and that means that you're going to create a graph connecting nodes representing functions. What we need is a graph class that contains all the nodes, and a class that represents the node itself. We already saw the first one in the previous episode, that's Hoodie mesh. It will contain a struct called graph, which contains all the nodes and the connection data. Now we need to define a class that represents the nodes, Hoodie node. It will be the parent class of all of the child nodes. If you're unfamiliar with object-oriented programming concepts, you may want to learn more about these on your own. But to put it simply, Hoodie node will provide the common structure that all the nodes will need in order to work correctly. For example, all Hoodie nodes need to have a process function that manipulates their input data and calculates the outputs. And here are other functions that need to be overridden by their children classes for the plugin to work. For example, getInputPortCount defines how many input slots the node will have. If we look at the meshGrid node, we can see that it has 4 input ports. That means that we want to override that function and return a value of 4. You now want to do the exact same thing for every other node for every function. Let's say it takes a little bit of time. For now, I created a handful of nodes just to get the plugin started and do some very basic things to see how it works. Speaking of that, if you want to suggest what nodes I should implement, I just launched my own Discord server. People already started to join and it's coming along pretty well. You will be able to discuss about Hoodie, make suggestions, share feedback, all in a cozy environment with other fellow game devs. The link is in the description below. See you there. But now, enough with the theory. Let's jump into the new features. Here I added a new Add Node pop-up menu from which you can add nodes. At that time you still couldn't see them, but we will work on that. And you also have a print debug that will show how many nodes there are in the graph. Yes, that's correct, we added 3 nodes. And here I later implemented the ability to add graph nodes in the UI. But you also want to remove nodes, right? And here we go. But not only that, you can also use Ctrl+C and let them come back. What's also fundamental is serialization, that is, the ability to save nodes and their positions when you close and reopen Godot engine. There we go, works like a charm. But what about some procedural geometry in action? Don't you want to see a procedural plane? The meshGrid node does exactly that. Connecting 2 input values into it, you can see how easy it is to change its dimensions. And now something a little bit more interesting. Why not creating a curve instead of a simple plane? You can change its width and also its offset from the original path, that is, the Godot engine curve 3D component. And this is a quick tutorial on how to do that from scratch. Once you create your curve 3D, you need to copy it and paste it in the input curve 3D node. Let's now add the mesh line node that will serve as the profile that curve to mesh will extrude along the path. Pretty awesome, right? But what's better is that as you change the original Core 3D, the Hoodie mesh will update in real time. Looking great! Here we go. As I already said in the first episode, the main area of focus now will be about resin tracks generation, so you can expect more about that soon. And now, time for the big announcement. You can download and try Hoodie right now. It's being publicly released on GitHub, and you can download the binary files for Windows or compile it by yourself. The project is open source and under the MIT license, so go get it for free and let me know what you think. The link is in the description below. I'll wait for your feedback on Discord. If you like this project and you think it's valuable for you or the community, you may consider to support me and Hoodie development. It can be pretty hard to maintain an open source and free project, so supporting me and Hoodie means helping the community get the tools they deserve and enable them to create more powerful games and experiences. That will really mean a lot to me. But now, thank you for being here and see you in the next episode with a lot of new updates. Bye!